The Global Latin Factor Podcast.
Welcome you and all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. I'm your host, Crispin Valentin. And today, before I get that, follow us on YouTube. Don't be playing. Before I get to today's guest, very special guest, she actually has been here before. She's doing an update on the things that she's been doing. So right now we have the owner of Melissa's Catering food truck and many other jobs. We have Melissa Torres Ramirez. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be back. It was fun the last time.
Yeah, absolutely. How you doing today?
Good.
Thank you for driving through the rain. We have a tsunami going on out there.
You know, some of us women, I struggle driving in regular weather.
Yeah.
But rain, it's a challenge.
You know, I always, every time I see a rainy day or a snowy day, I always post something online about, you need to slow down because, am I the only one that remembers hydroplaning from driving school?
No, I actually learned about hydroplaning the hard way.
Yeah?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you have to slow down. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this started, but we have another Preguntas al Chile 2.0 just for you.
Okay.
Preguntas al Chile 2.0.
Preguntas al Chile.
Okay, this is a little shorter version. Ready? So last time you chose tacos, but would you prefer al pastor, carnitas, or bistec?
Bistec, no pork.
Flautas o tostadas?
Tostadas.
Enchiladas o chilaquiles?
Enchiladas. I just made some yesterday.
Ceviche o vuelve a la vida?
What is vuelve a la vida?
It's kind of like almost the same thing, but more stuff. They have. So
I'll go with ceviche.
Ceviche has this the fish. Vuelve a la vida has octopus. Has
no.
Like that. Okay. No.
All ceviche.
Or is it kind of like a cóctel de camarón, but more? Okay. Caldo de res o caldo de pollo?
Depends on my mood, but I would say caldo de res.
Caldo de res. Okay. Agua de piña, melón o sandía?
Piña.
Mangonada o rusa?
I don't drink.
No, those are not alcoholic drinks. Those are just those
Mango
ice
nada,
cream
but no
drink?
chamoy.
No chamoy on it. Okay. Black beans or pinto beans?
Pinto beans.
Pinto beans? Okay. And the last time you were here, then I started asking this question just to get everybody's perspective or everybody's idea of what the word means to you. So when you hear the word Latino, what comes to mind? What does it mean to you? Or do you have a definition or anything that comes to mind when you hear Latinos or Latinas?
Being Latina means to me, I love it, but it's all, for me, it's all about culture. Mm-hmm. It's all about representing where you come from. Definitely, of course, I was born and raised here, but for me, I feel like I am Latina because I definitely represent our authentic culture. When it comes through my food, through my decorating, the way that I treat people, being very family oriented.
Right.
For me, being Latina is representing your culture.
Absolutely. And
pretty much.
Remind me again the generation that's been here as far as your parents.
7.
And they're originally from? Do you remember?
You know what? My brother actually did a tree not too long ago and he posted on Facebook. If I want to say, he said from Matamoros.
So y'all never been to the motherland, to Matamoros or anything? It's 7 generations. It's kind of hard.
I mean, I've been to Mexico, but and I would stay through the summer with my stepdad's parents, but I never knew my family that was from Mexico.
Oh wow!
Because there's 7. My great grandmother, her parents were still even from here, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we're 7 generations from here.
Yeah,
already.
it's a long time. It's a long time. Okay.
And people always tell me, how do you speak Spanish? And how do you cook like that? Well, one thing that my great grandmother instilled in us, with me, is food.
Yeah, and then that, and then you have again, like we mentioned last time, your ancestors giving you that.
Yes.
That sauce. Okay, so after we interview, what happened? I know you told me you got a little emotion and everything. But how you feel? Any feedback did you receive from the interview?
I received a lot of feedback. I had actually a family member tell me that they're like, you know what? I found out things about you I didn't even know. And I was like, yeah, I kind of am a very open person. I'm an open book. I really don't leaving, you know, my grandma always said, si tienes algo que decir, no te muerdes la lengua. Like, don't bite your tongue, you know, like say what you need to say. So I feel like some people like to be very private as to where for me, I feel like, hey, like you get what you get what you see, you know, like is that how it says? You see what you get.
You see what you get. I get confused.
You see what you get.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, I had a family member. She was like, "Oh, I didn't even know you were doing that. You were working at that corporate." I got a lot of negative feedback from starting to work for somebody else because I've been on my own for so long. But I felt like it was something that I was intrigued with. It was something that caught my attention, and I feel like I don't like to live with regrets. So, and I don't make decisions based on my emotions. So I always say like, hey, if I want it, I gotta go get it. And it was definitely an experience.
Okay. So let's talk about that. So the last interview we had, you were in the position with a corporate company and now you're doing by yourself, right? So what was your experience like as far as what you learned and your takeaways from when you were there at the time that you were there?
Well, the team that I worked with closely, that were my business partners, they were great people to work with. It was a group of 4 great gentlemen that I worked with, and I learned a lot from them. I did learn that corporate world is not for me, just because maybe it is because I'm Latina, or maybe it's because I'm a woman. I don't like to be told what to do.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to my food, I'm not a recipe type of person. So it was hard for me to put my food on paper. It was hard for me to have to constantly explain or train other people to do what I do, to do what has taken me years to do.
Right.
And I felt like I was giving a part of me away, and I didn't like that. For me, I have to feel some type of sense of control. Like, I can't control the people around me. I can't control what goes on, you know, what other people do. I can only control myself.
Right.
But working in the corporate world for me was not having any type of control, not even over myself. You're constantly having to be on a schedule. You're constantly being told what to do. You're constantly questioned, where are you at? What are you doing? I feel like I had like 10 parents, you know, and it was definitely a big challenge for me. And mentally, I was not okay. So I felt like the best thing for me to do was just to move on. And I want to tell you, like, since the day that I've stepped out of that type of world, I have been nonstop busy, because working for that company, it took a lot of my time. And not more than anything, it took a lot of time away from my family. And my kids didn't like that either. They were just like...
So they told you about it?
Oh, yeah. No, my son, constantly, I would come home, like, he's like, I hate your job. I'd like, can you please just like quit? But financially, it was when at that time, you know, earlier at the end of last year, it was a good, you know, financial position that I was in.
Right.
And it helped my family. But for me, money isn't everything. And I feel like I do a lot better on my own, because I did give up a lot of business from people that were coming to me for catering when I worked for that company. I want to say I turned down at least 20 jobs in those months that I worked there.
Yeah.
And I wasn't happy.
That's good.
And
well,
for me, money...
It's not good that you were not happy, but it's good that you made the decision to do what you needed to do.
Yes.
For your happiness sake, and, you know, less stress. Because corporate America does have that. But at the same time, it does make sense what they were like. I don't know if you took anything away as far as the way that it works, to where maybe they were thinking upscaling once you have it. Because you do have to, let's say Melissa's Catering takes off and it becomes, I know you've done the restaurant before and it takes a lot of your time, but let's say one day you decide to go that route. You do have to have those steps down to make sure every single Melissa's Catering is just like that, you know what I mean? So I see where they're coming from. But as far as the hours and everything, that's like super excessive as far as like all the time that you have to devote.
I mean, I was working 18-hour days. And then still still running my companies.
Yeah.
And then still taking care of my kids. and you know, being a wife is that's like 3 jobs.
I'll give it to you ladies, because we men, sometimes, not every single one of us, but some of us don't give you that credit you deserve. Because I was telling somebody, I think it's Josie, one of our artists that came in, like, y'all really are the superheroes and the leaders of the household, right? Because you are, most nowadays, it used to be women would stay and raise the kids and stay-at-home moms. But now y'all go to the workforce also, and then y'all come back and still have another job of feeding kids and everything. And I'm not saying that's how you're supposed to be. It would be nice that, you know, I'm pretty sure your husband helps you out the most, but it's still, y'all still get to do a second job whether you want it or not, right? Because your kids are always going to be dependent on you whenever you, like, there was one night show did a question about the dads, because the Father's Day is coming up, and they ask, what's your child's birthday? And like,
He didn't know.
where did they go to school? Was it one of them's birthday it was Jimmy Kimmel, and like one of the little girl's birthday, my birthday was yesterday. Like, oh yeah, it was yesterday. But then they asked the mom, like, oh, what's her doctor's name? This. What is her school? This. What blood type? This. She was on point. And those things we need, because we don't know. We really don't. So salute to y'all ladies, women, and whoever is the head of a household that takes care of it.
Yeah, I mean, there was one week that was, I mean, we were real busy. Like when we did the for the how do you say, the car show that we did in November. I worked, I want to say, those 3 days straight. Ouch. Just to prepare. My son was sick that week, so I want to say that Thursday to Friday and Saturday I didn't sleep at all.
Ouch.
And then I want to say I got like maybe 3 hours the night before. And then I worked all day that day, and then of course, you know, we get back to where we knew we had to drop off the food truck, and then I gotta go home and I gotta prepare, you know, for the next week. So, and it was a lot, because I was running the food truck for them, you know, and I created a food truck, a whole menu. I created the recipes, you know, everything from that company is mine. I created another.
Is there intellectual property, but is your idea that
yes, well, yes.
And now you know how to do it.
Yes, there were my recipes and my menu items that are on there. Everything is my creations. They were all my ideas. And then I created another type of. So I've always done the meals like to go when I had with my catering business, and that was something that I introduced to them as well. And I was doing that as well. And not only that, I was still trying to open the facility, help them open the facility and get prepared for that what we were trying to do. So it was a lot. I was doing 3 jobs there, running my own companies, and then taking care of my kids and my family.
Oh yeah. You were doing like 4 or 5 jobs at a time.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it was just,
and it was doing
stressful.
tax season too.
Yes. And I do taxes, and I'm so glad that my clients are patient with me.
Yeah.
Because it was stressful. Let's just say 2021 and 2022, it has been like, whew, I'm ready for vacation.
Yeah. You need to I know you stay busy, and I know you work by yourself, but whenever you can, learn how to meditate to like calm down and bring yourself.
It's the music for me. My meditation is straight music.
Whichever.
Just depending on the mood I'm in. Like my kids know, don't mess with mom. She's listening to like men suck music, or
that's funny,
or she doesn't like her kids' music, or what is the world coming to music. So it just depends. Like you
got playlists of stuff that they already know what it is. That's funny.
They know, like, or they'll know when I'm in a good mood and they can come ask me for something.
Yeah.
So when I'm listening to like Selena or Carrie Underwood, oh, mom's in a good mood. Like when I'm listening to like my country music, they're like, oh yeah, mommy's going to be so sweet to us today.
They can go ask you for something and you know you're going to say yes.
But when I'm listening to like Tupac or Biggie, they're like, no, leave her alone. Now. They're like, don't even, well, when I'm listening to Eazy-E or they're like, you know what, step away.
You know, going back on that one statement, not negative statements, but the statements that other people were saying about you. When we were interviewing, that thought came to mind that like, I don't know how you're going to do it, because I've been in corporate America, so I know how it works. And to be somebody that doesn't like to be told, just like I told you, I'm the same way. It just depends on how you ask me. I'm the same way. So it did cross my mind, but I'm not going to interfere with people's, like, at that time, that's what you wanted to do. And I think it's a big lesson to learn once you have gone through it, instead of somebody trying to tell you, instead of living it for yourself and then seeing what comes out of it.
And I think that it was I want to say it was more like they understood my reasoning as well, because they could see that they weren't going to be able to control me. They weren't going to be able to tell me what to do, because I'm a woman. I have selective hearing. It goes in through one ear and it comes out the other. And if it's not something I don't want to hear, I don't even hear it. I will literally block it out.
Or you can remember something for 20 years ago and keep it in the back of your head until it's ready to be used.
Yes, that's why I said I have selective memory. So it's all about what I wanted to hear. So if they gave me if they said 40 words, I probably heard 5.
That's funny.
And that was just, and I think that they realized that as well. So when it was time for me to walk away, there was no argument. There was just like, okay, yeah, because you're really not gonna, you don't want to do what we want. And I'm like, exactly, I don't want to. I feel like I'm better off on my own. And I also think that the one thing that I want to say that I learned about working in the corporate world is nobody will ever value your work like you do. So I felt like I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm not valued for my work. And I don't think that anybody's ever going to value my work as much as I value my own work.
I think it's the best approach to be able to feel good whenever you're done for the day, that you put everything you could for whatever it is, whether it's you or that company, that you gave it your all. And then no matter what, even if they're not satisfied or acknowledging that you're doing a great job, you walk away feeling that you did a great job. So that should count for something.
Yes. And that's the one thing about the employees that I have that work for me now, with my catering business, because I do have 4 people that work for me. And they're amazing. That's great. Literally will work 5 times harder for me than I ever expected them to. They and they're with me. They're not like we just did AT&T Stadium. Oh yeah.
Oh, you got a award, some taco award.
So
right?
well, basically, I had like the longest line at the AT&T Stadium. I can tell you that I did
Taco Fest.
Yes, at Taco Fest. I did not see the end of the line until 7 p.m. And we had VIP came in, and we fed like I want to say there was like maybe a little less, a little over 100.
What time did it start?
11.
11. So 11 till 7, and you had a line for most of the time.
We were nonstop. I heard people waited over an hour and a half for our tacos.
Ouch. And that's just because, okay, you make the tortillas homemade, which is super awesome. It's the closest thing you're going to have to being the most organic, even though it's still from Maseca, but it is the closest and the healthier option. So from 11 to 7 you were making tacos the whole time.
I was making tacos hechas a mano. I was doing birria quesadillas.
Oh, wow.
So I had 2 comales going, and we had no umbrella. We were in dab of the heat.
Ouch.
So I'm a little bit probably more caramel now than what I was when I did the first interview. They're like, "Ooh, she got a little bit darker." Now I just got a little tan. So yeah, because I just recently ordered an umbrella for us, because I realized like we can't be on the comal and like just be in the constant heat. Yeah. I had to like step away for a minute. I forgot my pickles. So I had to like suck on some limon for a little bit with like some salt, so I could kind of get a little bit more rehydrated quicker, because I want to say I drank at least 15 to 18 bottles of water that day, but they were just...
Yeah. So you played something, or you got some award on that time. They gave you something, right?
So it was, the Best Authentic Tacos.
Best Authentic Tacos. That's what you got awarded for. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I've gotten amazing business from there. I had a lady that actually was there from San Antonio.
Wow.
And she wants me to go and do her wedding. And she said, she was like, I will pay for all your expenses. You come here. She's like, and I will stay. So she's going to pay for my hotel, for my stay. Yeah. Of course, because my staff has to go with me, because she's a 300-person wedding. Ouch. And I'm just like, and she's getting married on a Friday. So I'm like, I'm so glad it's in the summer, because my staff are they're my daughter's friends. They're all teenagers.
That's nice.
And it's really cool because one of them is actually he's going to high school. He's going into the program to study culinary. So it's exciting. I was like, wow, like she was here visiting from San Antonio. She came to visit I think her sister. And they were here for her bachelorette party.
Oh wow.
So they came out to the Taco Fest and
Toda cruda.
Yeah,
she get the best taco ever.
She had like, she's like, she wants me to do birria quesadillas and I'm going to do tacos de fajita de pollo and tacos de fajita de res because my fajita is the real marinated fajita. I don't serve that beefsteak.
The one that's already pre-marinated, you do it yourself. You have your own marinade that you do. That's awesome. So and
I make it on the we do it on the charcoal mesquite grill.
I
make all the fajita and the fajita de pollo.
You know what? Was there any questions from the last interview we had that you're like, man, you walked away, you were like, I wish you would have asked me about this? Anything that comes to mind from the last time?
Maybe about my other businesses.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, let's talk about that. But first, before I get to the other businesses, I want to talk about when was it that you found out you were actually allergic to spicy stuff? I didn't ask that. I'm like, what? When did she find out? Did you get all puffy all of a sudden? Somebody give us some chile? Like,
with my daughter's dad, my older daughter, her dad, we had went to a birthday party, and I went home that night, and they had made like some type of guiso. I want to say it was like a guiso de res, but they had jalapenos in it, and I thought it was bell pepper. And it wasn't.
Ouch.
And so I was eating it with tortilla, and I had just finished eating like some chips. So I thought, okay, well, I mean, this is a little spicy, but no, I started like, my tongue started swelling up. I started like blowing up. I look like the guy from Hitch.
But was that the first time you knew?
Yeah, because I'd never eaten spicy food before.
You never had a craving for anything like that? That's wild that even, like, it's in our culture, like Mexicanos, even Seven, we love like our spicy food. My parents went to Europe and they didn't eat not one thing spicy over there. And when they came back 10 days later, they finally got to eat some spice and they were missing it because they haven't had it in over like almost 9-10 days.
Some people can't eat.
Yeah.
And they say que no comen a gusto. Like they're like, the food is not even good si no tiene chile.
I mean,
my husband is like that.
I'm like that too. I have to have some kind of spice every single, like even if it's a little bit. I go to Olive Garden and they give me the flake peppers and I have to have that at least too. I don't know. It is addictive. You know that, right? Supposedly they say that it's a bit addictive. Like the first time you tried it, you'll remember the feeling for the rest of your life.
And my kids are not like, they're not like my husband. They're not like, ¿cómo se dicen? They're like, ay, ustedes como tu papá es de Mexico and you guys don't even eat chile. My kids don't, they'll eat hot Cheetos, you know, but that's it, or like the Takis, but that's just, they don't eat like comida with chile.
So they didn't blow up like you did at that time. So you straight up just your throat closed?
So my tongue started, I started talking like that.
Like that?
Yes. And then they were like, my dad was like, are you okay? I know, and I was like, hello. And then he's like, what's wrong with your face? And I'm just like, what do you mean? And he's
like the scene Hitch.
Like that. Yes. Yeah. And I was just like, he took me to the hospital and they were like, they did like an allergen test on me and they had asked me everything that I ate. So when they did the allergen test on me, so they did it was cumin. I didn't even know you could do that. Cumin, garlic, and they did the one for the jalapeno. And then they asked me so they did like the, where you can't have like gluten or anything like that. What is that called?
I know what you're talking about.
Celiac or something like that. When you can't eat that stuff.
You're allergic to gluten, pretty much. Okay.
So I was like, I don't know. Like I've been eating tortillas my whole life, bread. Yeah. And so when they did the allergen test, they found out that yes.
The tortillas can be gluten free. You have that option to do so.
Well, my maseca one, my tortillas de maíz, those are gluten free.
And one last question before I get to the other stuff you do. The tortillas. So. If I'm not mistaken, you're one of the only ones that I've seen in action that does actually homemade tortillas. Is that something important to you that you have to have them? Why is that?
Because I feel like it's so easy to heat up a tortilla. But it shows effort in your food when you want to make it as authentic as possible. My goal to anyone who eats my food, who buys it from me, that I cater for, that I have an event with, I want them to always know that anything that I'm doing for them, and because of course they're paying me, whether it's $3 for a taco, whether it's, $2,000 that they're paying me to feed their family, they worked very hard for that money. Yeah. So I need to give them the best that I have. So why I treat all of my clients and I serve all of my guests like they're part of my family. Yeah. So for me, authenticity is very important. So it's very easy to heat up a tortilla no comal. Yeah. Very easy. Everybody can do that. But how much more does someone appreciate when you give them a little taste of home?
Not only that, the taste, like you said, it's like it's a different space. Like it tastes way better whenever you start doing like an actual homemade tortilla. So you are right. So it's appreciated. Thank you for doing that. Now, what else do you do? I know you do taxes, and I know last time you were doing something else. I don't know if you're still doing anything with the adult toys, and then something else you were doing. So what else are you doing so far?
I do event planning.
And event planning.
Right now I have 4 weddings and 5 quinceañeras that I'm planning for the year. I'm
2023.
2022.
Still?
That's all this year.
Are you serious? That's a lot.
So I have 2 brides in August. I have 2 brides in October, 1 in September, and then 1 in November. And then my daughter's quinceañera will be in December. So I'm not taking any events for December. I've had to turn away quite a bit of business for December already. I'm still doing my Thanksgiving desserts, but I'm not going to do anything for December because my daughter is towards the end of the year. It's on like right close to Christmas. So we want to make sure that we have, I don't want to have any stress or have any reason to not have everything right for her party because she already warned me, if you mess up my quinceañera, I'm just owning you.
For life. No, but that's good though because there's so many things that can get in the way, especially when you're planning something for the family.
Yes.
So it's good. Okay, so taxes for sure. So you're done with that?
No, I'm still doing taxes.
The late people?
Well, I have clients who actually have their own businesses.
Oh,
so I have to do their quarterly taxes. And then I do accounting for a couple of clients. I keep up with their expenses and everything, and I pay their monthly taxes and the ones that they pay to the comp and controller.
Did you do something with accounting or you just learned this based on what you've been doing?
I took a few classes and I'm actually next month I will be getting my notary stamp and so I can be more prepared for next year. I want to be a
mobile notary too?
Mobile notary.
Those are in high demand and they make some good money.
Yeah, because sometimes they be like at a bonds person, they'll need it like at 11 o'clock at night. And
then the mortgage industry, you have to have a notary to close. So that's something, but you just make sure that you know the documents if you're going to do that.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot more documents.
So the person that got me into it is actually a client. She's a real estate agent. And I catered her daughter's quinceañera. And she told me, she's like, you do taxes, right? And I'm like, she's like, why don't you become a notary? And I'm like, I've wanted to do that. Like, I'll pay for the stamp and everything. She's like, no, she's like, but it's not just about doing that. She's like, you got to know what you're doing because everybody will tell you, oh, just stamp it. She's like, but that's your name. She's like, and if you don't do it the right way, she's like, you can get into a lot of trouble. Like, oh, I'm way too pretty to go to federal prison.
But you do have to make sure that you do it correctly because it is okay. So the taxes, so pretty much that's pretty much what you're doing right now.
I do a lot of the decorating for the events. I do centerpieces, backdrops, dessert tables, anything that you can think of for an event. And then I have vendors that I use for my event planning packages. Like I use my girl Rochelle anytime. She's an amazing baker. She does beautiful cakes. And she's not like a high price, person. Definitely you get what you pay for. Sometimes I think that her cakes are underpriced because she's like amazing. My friend Jay, he's a good DJ and I use him in my packages as well. And then I have a photographer who's my god sister and a videographer that I use as well.
Yeah, I've seen some of the videos you put out for your family. Is that who did the work?
Yes.
It's nice.
Yeah, he the one that was doing them for me before, he actually now works for a big company and he's kind of moved on from this. So I use somebody else now. But she does good and so does he. So I try to like, and then I've been doing deals with like venues. So I will exclusively send them to those venues. And it actually, it's worked out, I mean, really good for me because I'm able to, anybody that wants to do a party, it's very stressful. So if I can give them like at one place to get everything that they need to get and they don't have to go anywhere else, that works for them.
Okay, I want to touch up briefly on something that I seen that you posted online. I don't want to throw names. I just want to talk about the principle in general. Like whenever, because I think you're a good person, right? And sometimes people do take advantage of the fact that somebody gets to put themselves in a pickle, and then you, as a good person, allow them to do whatever they need to an event, and then they will take care of you later. But have you learned a lesson not to do that? Because it's just not. Unfortunately, you have to. This is business, right?
Definitely.
You don't have to take care of it now, or unfortunately, we're not able to do that
and
part.
She still hasn't paid.
Well, we're not trying to do no name dropping.
No.
But there was a situation where something happened like that, right?
Yes.
Do you take any lessons from that at all whatsoever? Like, even though I'm a good person, unfortunately, there will be people that will take advantage of it up to. So I have to completely 100% treat it like a business, take a little bit of the emotional part. It sucks for them, but it is a luxury to have a party. It's not a necessity.
Exactly.
And it is true. I like that you put that. So
yes, having an event is definitely, it's a very big luxury. Going out to eat is a luxury.
Yeah.
That's why I don't understand people who don't tip.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to tip, then go to a fast food restaurant.
Or eat at the home.
Or eat at home.
Yeah.
Or make an egg. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I
unless it's bad service. Like if it's super extremely bad service, maybe $1 just so they can learn their lesson.
You know what? I honestly, like, anybody that knows me, they literally, and I know that they're watching, they will literally say, I hate to go out to eat with Melissa. My son calls me a Karen. 1000%.
Let me find out. The reason you tip good, you feel bad at the end of the night. Like, here you go. There's 100. I'm sorry. I missed it.
I tip. I always, anytime I go out to eat, which lately for me and my family, because of inflation, everything that's gone up, it's like $100 at least if we go out to eat, like, to a restaurant, you know, like if we're going to get like a good meal. So I would tip $20, $30, or $40. I've done it before. But if you give me crappy service, and I like it when the waitresses, they'll flirt with my husband. And then...
You like that?
Yeah, no, I like it when they do that. And they're nice to him. But they'll like ignore me. And I'll be like, I'm tipping you, sweetheart. I'm paying for the meal. And it's normally when I'm either paying for the food that they do that. And I'm like, yeah, tipper. I dare you.
Oh my
God. Go ahead.
That's funny.
So, I mean, for me, it's hilarious that people do not understand that, for me, favors don't pay the bills.
Yeah.
So my contracts are a lot more like I make everybody pay like before the service is even ever done. That situation was a big lesson to be learned. Yeah. And I've tried to be as patient as I can. And it got to a point, I just had to I used social media to my advantage. And, I had to go through legal stuff to get everything done. And still nothing has, that person is not cooperated.
Yeah.
But honestly, I look at it like, what goes around comes around.
That too, and maybe there's an opportunity to, I don't know if anybody does it, to do a plan, like a payment plan up to that point to where the full payment needs to be paid before everything gets done.
Yeah, look, so like my brides, especially I have the ones that I'm actually planning. That's that many that I just the 5 quinceañeras and the 4 brides that I'm doing. Or vice versa, I think it's 5 and 4. It's 5 and 4. They pay me almost every month, so they do their plans because I've been booked for 2 of these things since the end of last year. So I want to say that they booked me like in August or September of last year, and so they've definitely. I have one bride that's practically already paid off her whole wedding.
That's what's up. That's good.
And she gave me a budget, and she's like, "Look, I only have this much to spend." And she's like, so do what you can with that budget. And I was able to do it within her budget and still $1,300 less. And then she's like, well, just keep it. And I'm like,
oh, that's nice of her.
She's like, well, you're planning it. She's like, you're not charging me to plan it. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm charging you a fee. And she's like, yeah, but you're not charging me enough. She's like, I haven't had to do anything.
That's nice.
You know, I found her the bridal suite. I was able to, you know, and I got all her family together and did like a little bridal party for her. I do definitely, I never charge for all of my work in any event that I've ever done.
Why is that?
Because I enjoy taking care of people. It's something that my mom instilled in me. It's something that, you know, my great grandmother, she took care of all of us and nobody ever paid her. And she never complained. She was probably the most beautiful hearted person I've ever met, you know, to this day. And I don't think that one of the things that she would always tell me is, if you're going to do something, do it because you want to. It's not always about the money. And I do have clients that'll tell me, you know, well, I want catering, but I only have like this budget. And they'll be like, and I'm like, okay, well, I can do this for you. And do I make a lot off of that event sometimes? No. But there are some, they give me a bigger budget and I will tell them that I can charge them only this much and they'll give me that extra money. They'll just give it to me. So I say that it's actually for me, it's, if I don't get it from one, I always am able to get it from the other.
So pretty much what you see is that it gets paid forward.
Yes.
And then with that, I'm pretty sure that help build a clientele because they know how you work and things. Okay, so let's talk about the vegan taco we talked about before, the options, and there's different kinds of stuff. And then you didn't believe me and you went look into it. And then what happened? What'd you find?
So I did come up with a recipe for a vegan taco and I named it after you.
Well, I helped. She didn't do it practically. But since I gave her the idea, you should name it. I went in so slick. You should name it Crispin Style Taco.
So they're Crispin Style Tacos.
How are they doing? They're selling them. Am I the only one buying them?
No,
Am I the only one buying the tacos?
I actually, at AT&T Stadium, I sold out.
You sold out of those? How many did you think you had?
I probably did about 75 of those.
75 of those tacos were sold that day. 70 Crispin Style Tacos were sold. What? I appreciate it. Even though I'm the one that gave you the idea of the name and the taco.
That's why I named it after you.
But then I tell you, there's a market for it.
There is.
And there's bucks in it.
I'm actually doing catering a wedding. It's all vegan food.
Really?
So I'm exploring with recipes. I've had to.
Yeah.
I actually have learned how to make cake with almond milk, which is, oh my God, it's
the tres leches cake. I want it.
It's
whenever
so
you're ready.
Creamy. Oh my God.
Goodness.
So I traded the vegan butter for like the ghee, for the butter for regular, like people use oil. But I actually I've always used butter for the past few years. And I actually did one with the vegan butter. And then I did the milk instead of the water. Yeah. It was probably one of the moistest cake I had ever tasted.
So I want to order right now the tres leches cake that we had talked about, but the vegan one, I want to buy one. Now, that's 70 people that you would have turned away if it didn't have that option for them.
And I did I did an event the 10th of May. So, you know, that was the week that they had how do you say it? They were saying thank you to the first responders, to the hospital workers. So I had, in Lancaster, I got hired for an event and I had great feedback. A lady that actually, they bought quite a bit and she came out, she's like, are you the catering lady? And I was like, yes. And she's like, what did you use? She goes, because I've tasted she's like, I've never had anything else. I've always been a vegan because that's, you know, she's always been a vegetarian, she said, but she's never been able to have like the black bean. She's had the black bean patty and all different types of stuff. And she said that she's never really liked it. So she tried mine. She actually only got one. And then they came back out and they ordered like 8 more. Yeah. And then they ordered like 4 more. And I was like, okay, so all my vegan meat actually finished at that place too. So
yeah. Now, the other thing that I would encourage you with to just explore with like the mushrooms or the natural stuff that we have, like nopales, mushrooms, and just jicama they're making freaking
I make a
tacos de
jicama.
not the jicama, de Jamaica leaves. They're making tacos out of that.
Really?
You can make tacos out of that.
Because I'm doing a jicama and mango salsa for the tofu that I'm doing for this wedding.
Yeah, Jamaica is the leaf itself. I don't know how they season it, and they're making a taco out of it, and it's freaking delicious.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you know
so
what?
I just want you to explore. I know that they have the other option for the other meats, but if you can keep it as natural as possible with the ingredients like mushrooms and different things like that, because I have a really good recipe that I saw on TikTok for mushrooms.
Oh, yeah?
But I'm pretty sure you can ramp it up to another level as far as what it is. And that's what I've been trying to get away from a little bit of those processed stuff and things like that, which is still a great option, don't get me wrong, but I just want to keep it as natural as possible for me. And there's a reason why sometimes I don't do that, but it's great to, whenever I see a taco truck that has that option, and then I'm able to eat that. And now that I have a taco named after me, go get you a Crispin Style. In fact, we're going to take a small pause because she's actually going to prepare one right here. And I'm going to do a review right here as soon as we finish doing that. So we'll be right back, and we're going to do a live testing right here. Even though I already had it, but it's going to be fresh, and I'm going to give you an honest review. We'll be right back.
cabbage on the tacos. I have my own seasoning that I have created. So I don't use lettuce, I use cabbage. And so we have the protein that we'll put in it, and then we will put the seasoned cabbage. We'll do the cilantro, the cebolla, the tomato, and we will put fresh avocado on there. And then of course, Crispin likes salsa verde. So I didn't bring him salsa roja, I brought him salsa verde. So I'm gonna prepare him 5 tacos. If he doesn't eat them all, I'm gonna be very offended. So we'll do the cilantro, the cebolla, the tomatoes, and the fresh avocados. And I'm gonna put him a couple of slices on his tacos. And then of course we top it off with lime and salsa verde. Oh, I made just enough meat for these tacos. You barely left any cabbage for me. Alright. We'll give him his lime and his salsa.
Alrighty, so we are back. We have the Crispin Style Tacos. They're vegan tacos. So we're going to give it a quick review. Y'all have no idea what happened to get those tacos right here. Let me just tell you that. It was a lot. So let me go ahead and do the way you do it. You put the...
I was mad when I made that salsa.
Oh, I can smell it. I can smell. You know how you can tell? Okay, so explain to what it means when you're mad.
So, I don't know why, but the madder you are, you can always tell how upset somebody was by how their salsa tastes.
She was extremely mad. I can taste it. Okay.
I mean, the kids shouldn't mess with me.
She was really mad when she made this salsa. So in our Mexican culture, whenever the salsa is extra spicy, is because whoever made it was mad at that time. And then maybe they added an extra chili, whatever the case might be, but the salsa is always hotter if somebody was mad. Okay, so here it goes. It's actually going to be my second time trying this, but this is going to be my first time capturing on camera. This is the Crispin Style Taco, the Crispin Vegan Tacos that she's making, that I introduced her to the concept of vegan stuff because, you know what, making bucks. Here we go.
They're going to make a gif here of his expression. If he passes out, I didn't make them. I won't take responsibility for that. When a man is speechless when he eats, my grandma always says that's a way to a man's stomach, to his heart is to his stomach. My husband did marry me for my personality. Are they spicy? No? Good. I'm glad you can handle that.
I'm busy. Okay, so the texture and the spice, like the seasoning in it, it's not too salty. It doesn't really taste like meat or not meat. It has his own way of, like, his own identity as far as the texture. So it doesn't taste like fake anything. It's really good. And then I like cabbage too, better than lettuce. And of course, avocado. Who doesn't love avocado? Get you nice fats in there. And the homemade tortilla just takes it to another level as far as taste. It's like the only way to do it, honestly, tacos. I know everybody want to cater to everybody and do your own business with, but when you do a homemade tortilla, it's just another level of goodness. So, man, not because they're named after me, but you need to try one of these. They're so freaking good.
I have had people that think it's ground beef.
Mm-hmm.
So I've made that for the wedding that I'm doing. I'm actually using that meat, but they want it ground beef style. So I'm putting potatoes, fresh tomatoes, like I'm doing like a picadillo.
Like a picadillo type.
And I'm putting carrots, peas, corn. And I did a taste testing for them, and believe it or not, these people, they are Mexican. They actually are eating cleaner now. They decided 5 years ago. Yeah. And they're actually getting married by the church. They're already married through the civil, through the court.
The courts.
And so now they're getting married in the church. And they are having, all of the menu is going to be vegan menu.
Wow.
So we're going to have aguas frescas. And I don't put any sugar in my agua frescas. So sometimes I have to put some in my lemonade, but I'll use more agave than anything.
We talked about it last time.
It's just, you got to watch out for some diabetes. I mean, just because, like, with our Mexican culture, we eat so much fat and the lard and the manteca. And conchas, everything we eat, it's like, everything that it's addictive, it has sugar.
And don't get me wrong, it's okay to hear once in a while do it. Yeah. But if you want to reduce your sugar and everything, the conchitas that we talk about, you know, all that, it does add to all that. And us Latinos are most susceptible to diabetes. So we really do need to be careful what we eat and not overeat. And, man, this is really good. Not because it's named after me, even though I give you the idea to name it, but it's so freaking delicious. It's so good. And I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
All right, well.
It was a struggle to make those today.
It was I don't understand. Maybe I will give you the backstory later on. But, oh, my God, it was freaking crazy, but it's delicious. Okay, your contact information, just do the social media, or where can they find you if they want to book you for an event?
So I'm on Facebook, Melissa's Catering, and I'm on Instagram under the same name, Melissa's Catering. My cell phone number is public. I'm going to shoot you a menu so you can actually post that if you want to.
Yeah, we'll add it on
my event menus. So I do taquizas, I do private events, and I'm not prejudiced to 15 people, 100 people. I have done intimate taquizas where there's 25 guests, and then I've done taquizas where I've served 300 people. And just doing Texas Stadium, it was a learning experience. Be prepared. Because if you think you're going to only need a certain amount, it's always better to take extra. So I always over-prepare.
That's good. All right.
So if you hire me for 300 people, I'm going to bring food for almost 400. Because when the caterer runs out of food, it's the caterer that looks bad, not the guest of honor.
And I appreciate you. Thank you very much for coming back and giving us an update. Good luck on everything you do. I hope that the vegan and everything, the whole menu that you're doing and everything keeps, and I'm pretty sure the lessons that you had as far as what you had to go through is going to take you further. So I appreciate it. And
yeah, we don't make mistakes. We learn lessons.
It's a learn lesson. And the fact that you're an entrepreneur, right? The fact that you're willing to take, feedback and make it happen into a reality. And with everything you've been doing, again, entrepreneur, being a woman in business and doing all that, you to me are a global Latin factor. So Melissa, you're a global Latin factor. Thank you for being here. Thank you for naming this tacos after me. We're going to have to go because I have to be busy right now. So we're going to go ahead and end the podcast. Once again, remember, we are just like you. We are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Until next time.
Bye.